This is Gary Guyman with the Dominate the Day podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to help you get 1% better in your business, provide clarity, and give you some ideas that will help you grow your business. If you're ready to dominate the day, let's go.
Dominate the day, that's what we're about to do. If you don't want to dominate, then this podcast ain't for you. But if you are, then keep listening, cause every single damn day, the mission is to dominate. You already know we're here to dominate the day. So if you want to dominate every day, then let's go, it's time to grow. This is another episode of Dominate the Day.
What's happening, Dominate Nation? I want to go back and let's have a little story time. Title of this story is Don't Give Up on Your Dreams. Like ever. Don't ever give up on them. So I was having this conversation with someone the other day. They had asked me about my entrepreneurial business owner path. And for the majority of my adult life, I've been self-employed, counting on myself for income. But there have been a few years where I haven't. One of those was the end of 2007 to the beginning of 2014. I remember in 2008, I'd been working for this company for a little over a year. I was their national sales manager, and it was a job I took because I had closed my mortgage company the year before. Needed to pay the bills. It paid well. I hated the fucking job, hated the fucking company, but I was done with entrepreneurship, like over it. The pain of what I thought was failure. It sucked bad. Really, really bad. Went into a depression. Just didn't like myself very much. Just didn't want to have to deal with that shit anymore. And I thought by not being in that vein that I wouldn't have to. So I kind of changed my goal of business ownership to focusing now on, what am I going to do when I retire? I was mid-30s at the time and kind of thinking long-term and ahead, which really isn't me at all. Long-term to me is like next year. So I was thinking, you know what? I'll go get my master's degree, become a teacher when I turn like 50, and I'll coach basketball. Like that was my ideal of retiring. So I had 14 years to do all of that. And in fact, at the time I was coaching high school basketball. So it kind of made sense. And I definitely loved coaching basketball, except for the parents. If there wasn't parents, coaching sports would be fucking phenomenal. But because there's parents, coaching sports is fucking horrible. But overall, it was an awesome experience. I coached AAU, middle school, high school basketball. It was a lot of fun. But I knew that my purpose was greater than just working for someone, surviving, not loving what I did, hating the fucking shit. Every day I'd go to work for someone. And I wasn't only watching, but I was helping them build their dream and their dream life. A couple years after that, the passion started to burn again. 2011, at the end of 2010, beginning of 2011, I started to think about, okay, what can I do to exit this situation and get back to business ownership, entrepreneurship? See, we're all called for a greater purpose. Sometimes that purpose is to lead others related to faith, or other times that purpose is to raise up great leaders from children, whether you're a parent or a teacher. And still other times that purpose is to be the one who enacts the vision of others. You're working for someone and it's your purpose to make that vision happen. But none of those were my purposes. Although I feel like I'm definitely called to help raise people up for greatness, I also feel like my purpose was to help others not only create and build their dream life, but to become the greatest versions of themselves through their ability to grow and own a business. But see, in 2008, I hadn't quite realized that yet. I hadn't gotten to that point because of what I perceived as failure. And if I'd have let that failure give me identity, if I'd have let that failure become what I believed I was, we wouldn't be here today. There wouldn't be a Dominate Partners. There wouldn't be a Dominate the Day podcast. I wouldn't be sitting in this office in Covington looking out the window at a IRS building that was just crushed to death by big, large equipment. I wouldn't be in this place if I hadn't of realized there's greater purpose. There's more to this. And so my whole purpose for doing this episode is to tell you, regardless of what has happened in the past, you can't let it define you. In Ed Mylett's book, The Power of One More, he talks about the identity that we collect, the identity that we become. And sometimes we attach ourselves to identities that aren't correct, that aren't right. Like, when we give ourselves a ceiling and we feel like what we're getting is what we deserve, when actually what we're getting is not what we deserve at all, because there's a greater opportunity and greater purpose. See, not everybody's created to own a business. Not everybody's created to be president of the United States. Not everybody's created to be a leader of an organization, but we all are created for a purpose. And once we figure that purpose out and walk in that purpose, then we're going to be able to dominate the day.
Dominate the day, that's what we're about to do. If you don't want to dominate, then this podcast ain't for you. But if you are, then keep listening, cause every single damn day, the mission is to dominate. You already know we're here to dominate the day. So if you want to dominate every day, then let's go, it's time to grow. This is another episode of Dominate the Day.